Good evening. Michigan State University is once again looking for a new president. Samuel Stanley's resignation today makes him the third president to step down in the last 4 years. Now, that announcement came in a video posted online this morning.
President Stanley ripped into the MSU Board of Trustees, saying he, along with the faculty senate and student government, have lost confidence in the board.
The actions of the campus over the past month have shown the world that Michigan State University will not accept micromanagement by board members of the operations of this great institution, and that we will hold individuals, no matter what their rank, accountable for their actions.
President Stanley is talking about how the university handled Sanjay Gupta's resignation.
The former business college dean stepped down in August after he reportedly did not report sexual harassment in a Title IX complaint. News 10's Cody Butler starts our team coverage live from campus tonight.
There were reports last month that the Board of Trustees was trying to fire Stanley and find someone else to live here at Cole's house because of that investigation. That's around the same time that the Board of Trustees also hired an outside law firm to look at that Title IX investigation. The faculty senate sent a letter to the Board of Trustees asking them to stop. The letter says the law firm was targeting people who wouldn't have much knowledge about the situation. It goes on to say the board is harming MSU's reputation. The faculty senate went as far as voting no confidence in the board. MSU student government did the same. Stanley says in his resignation video,
I'm so grateful to have had the chance to serve with you over the past 3 years. And I know that you will continue to uphold these principles as you move forward into a bright future.
Last month, an MSU spokesman told me that Stanley and the Board of Trustees were negotiating a new contract. Those talks are apparently over tonight with this announcement. Last year, Stanley's contract was extended into 2024. Reporting live in East Lansing, Cody Butler, News 10.
All right, Cody, thank you. So, what's the reaction from the MSU Board of Trustees after President Stanley's criticism?
For most of the day, it was silence, but just before we went on the air, the board put out a statement. News 10's Erin Bowling spent the day trying to track down individual trustees. She's live at the Hanna Administration Building tonight.
The board broke its silence with a statement that did not respond to Stanley saying he's lost faith in them. The statement says, quote, "The MSU Board of Trustees appreciates President Stanley's service over the past 3 years. President Stanley arrived at a difficult time and provided steady leadership to guide us forward while the entire world was experiencing severe disruption and uncertainty. The Board of Trustees will work cooperatively with President Stanley during the transition, and more details will be shared with the campus community as information is available." End quote. I spent the day calling, emailing, and knocking on the office doors of the trustees. Right now, the president's office is empty. The trustees are nowhere to be found. A few secretaries have told me the trustees are in meetings, but what meetings? We aren't sure. We're going to keep trying to talk to the trustees individually. The next Board of Trustees meeting is Friday, October 28th. Live in East Lansing, Erin Bowling, News 10.
And we mentioned Samuel Stanley is the third MSU president to resign since 2018.
The other two stepped down because of their handlings of the Larry Nassar investigation. Luana Simon resigned in January of 2018. The trustees publicly backed her during the Nassar scandal, but pressure from the faculty and the public got to be too much. She was arraigned on criminal charges, but a judge later dismissed the case for lack of evidence. Simon was replaced on an interim basis by former Michigan Governor John Engler, who lasted 1 year. He brought heat on himself by making repeated comments about the Nassar survivors, including saying they were, quote, enjoying the spotlight. Engler stepped down shortly after the board scheduled a special meeting to fire him. One trustee called his time as president a, quote, reign of terror.
Good evening. Tonight, trouble at the top. Confusion among students at Michigan State University as they try to process why the school's president is resigning.
In a video released this morning, President Samuel Stanley cited a lack of faith in the Board of Trustees as one of the main reasons for submitting his resignation. News 10's Claudia Sella spent the evening on campus, joins us now live with reaction to today's resignation announcement. Claudia?
David, in President Stanley's resignation video, he cites a lack of confidence in the board, and he's talking about the way the board handled the resignation of Sanjay Gupta in August. And now this resignation video has left the campus community in complete shock.
It's just on a Thursday morning, I look at my phone, I'm like, he resigned.
Earlier today, I gave my contractually required 90-day notice of resignation to the Board of Trustees of Michigan State University.
It was not the message Michigan State University students Tyler Drennan and Del Woolhart were expecting to wake up to Thursday morning. And it's not sitting well with some.
I don't know, it just seems weird, like everything going on right now.
But things have been stirring up for a while. Stanley, who's been the president of MSU for 3 years, outlined why he's leaving in a nearly 5-minute-long video addressed to the campus community. In it, he blames his resignation on disagreements with the Board of Trustees following the resignation of Sanjay Gupta.
But I, like the Michigan State University Faculty Senate and Associated Students of Michigan State University, instituted.
And while it's unclear who will be the next president, students say they just hope whoever it is has a smooth transition.
All right, Claudia, thank you. So, what's the reaction from the MSU Board of Trustees after President Stanley's criticism?
For most of the day, it was silence, but just before 5 o'clock this evening, the board put out a statement. It did not address Stanley's disapproval of the board. It says, quote, "The MSU Board of Trustees appreciates President Stanley's service over the past 3 years. President Stanley arrived at a difficult time and provided steady leadership to guide us forward while the entire world was experiencing severe disruption and uncertainty. The Board of Trustees will work cooperatively with President Stanley during this transition, and more details will be shared with the campus community as information is available," end quote. When President Samuel Stanley said he'd lost confidence in the MSU Board of Trustees, he was just echoing the sentiments of the Faculty Senate. The Faculty Senate, like Claudia said, passed a no-confidence vote on Monday. One Michigan State professor says today's announcement was shocking to him, especially after Stanley's leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic.
My first reaction is disappointment. I think I have a little bit of empathy for anybody, whether it's Governor Whitmer or President Biden or even President Trump, in this case President Stanley, anybody who governed during COVID times, the difficult decisions that nobody's ever had to make before.
Michigan State professor Rick Epps also says that he's disappointed that the university, quote, is not over the political infighting, unquote. Now, the Faculty Senate is made up of representatives from each college at the university. It makes recommendations to the administration on things like curriculum, tenure, and salary. And the question still stands, where does MSU go from here? With President Stanley giving his 90-day notice, the university now is looking for its next leader. President Stanley becomes the third full-time president to leave MSU since 2018. President Luana K. Simon resigned under pressure in January of 2018 in the wake of the Larry Nassar scandal. The board named former Michigan Governor John Engler as the interim president. He also stepped down after controversies surrounding statements he made about survivors of Larry Nassar. And after some digging, News 10 was able to find out what Stanley's contract says about his resignation. Here's what we've learned. Samuel Stanley's contract was set to expire on July 31st of 2024. According to the document, Dr. Stanley is not entitled to any further compensation or benefits if he resigns without good reason. However, he does have the option to return to the faculty as a tenured member of the College of Human Medicine. Stay with News 10 as we continue to follow the trouble at the top at Michigan State University. Michigan State University may have 2 new trustees as it starts the search for a new president. News 10's Jeannie Harris talked with 4 of the people running for those 2 seats about what needs to change on the board following Samuel Stanley's resignation.
The 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats running for seats on the Michigan State University Board of Trustees may have different visions for MSU's future, but they're in agreement that the board needs changes.
There's really been a lack of open government at Michigan State, and I'd like to start with releasing the thousands of pages of documents dealing with the Nassar situation. I think the other thing I really want to do is I really want to listen to the students, employees, and guests at Michigan State University.
Republican Mike Balo wants to see less politics from the trustees.
I think the board needs to work together and openly, regardless of party, because once you're elected, you have to govern the university. So, I mean, the political process is almost like a necessary evil. I can't think of a better system, but you know, it's important for the trustees to realize that once you get elected, you need to work together and get a job done.
Democrat Renee Kanaki Jefferson is the only incumbent trustee on the ballot. She says if reelected, she will provide transparency.
In terms of board governance, how the board communicates with the campus community, but also from the administration in sharing its plans and vision, one tangible, concrete step that the Board of Trustees and the administration has been part of together during my time on the board.
While Republican Travis Mench's vision is to start with restoring integrity, it begins with trust.
I think that the recent report that came out highlighted a lot of deficiencies in our current Title IX processes. And also, I think that there is a role for external investigations for issues like these.
Mench is referring to the resignation of Sanjay Gupta, who is accused of failing to report under the university's Title IX policy. The resignation escalated the dispute between the board and President Stanley, leading him to announce his resignation effective January 11th. In East Lansing, Gina Harris, News 10.
There are 3 other candidates running for the MSU Board of Trustees: Robin Lorraine of the Green Party and Clarana Gelino and Max Reski from the Libertarian Party. We will continue to let you know more about President Stanley's resignation and the search for his replacement. Be sure to stay tuned to News 10 for our continuing coverage of Trouble at the Top.
We will navigate our way forward to make all Spartans proud.
Michigan State University has a new interim president tonight. Today's decision caps 3 weeks of controversy at the East Lansing School. Current President Samuel Stanley announcing he was stepping down over a disagreement with the Board of Trustees. And today the trustees unanimously selected Provost Teresa Woodruff to lead the university as they search for a permanent president. News 10's Gina Harris spoke with Woodruff and students about today's decision. She joins us now live from campus. Gina.
David, Woodruff will begin shadowing President Stanley this Friday. Today I spoke with students and the new interim president to learn about what's ahead for the future of the university.
I'm convinced and confident that together we will persevere and continue to not only uphold, but to advance our shared mission.
Teresa Woodruff is currently Michigan State University's provost. She will soon replace Samuel Stanley, who resigned earlier this month after he said he lost confidence in the university's Board of Trustees. Monday's decision to appoint Woodruff as interim president was seen as a positive development by students and faculty, who endorsed her to take over the top position.
In that she's internal to the university and she's aware of the strategic plans that we already have in place.
The programs MSU student Stephen Kihas is referring to are the betterment of the university's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office. Kihas says he's hopeful for a fresh beginning.
I'm excited for this period to reinstill and refoster trust and transparency in the leadership of the institution. I'm excited to work with the board and the new president.
Woodruff says she hopes to refocus the university's attention to building its 2030 plan and helping the transition for a new permanent president.
We have to really be able to continue to meet the objectives and the needs of the campus, even while the board is going through a process of developing the processes and searching for the next president. So we need stability, but we need to be agile as we continue to address these needs.
Woodruff was appointed as the provost of MSU in 2020. Live in East Lansing, Gina Harris, News 10.
All right, Gina, thank you. A national search for a permanent replacement will begin soon. Woodruff says she hasn't decided if she'll apply for the permanent position.